Translation. O Lord Hari, I have spent my life uselessly, having obtained the human birth, having not worshipped Radha and Krishna, I have unknowingly drunk poison.
Knowingly.
I have knowingly drunk poison.
Either way, whether you drink it knowingly or unknowingly, it has the same effect. Number 2.
Treasure of divine love in Goloka Vrindavana has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's holy names.
He's saying knowingly because if one, in other words, obtained a human birth, especially a human birth in India, anyone born in India has practically heard of Radha Krishna. Who hasn't heard of Radha Krishna in India? It's very rare. Especially Nityananda Trayodashi, several few hundred years ago. So, having achieved the rare human birth and then not worshipping Radha Krishna, that's knowingly drinking poison. Knowingly drinking poison means suicide. And if one accidentally drinks some poison and dies, you didn't know. But if one is frustrated and he's so disappointed in his life, he can't find what he's looking for, so then he drinks poison and gives up his life out of frustration. So that's the meaning. Nityananda Thakur is taking the part of an ordinary materialistic person who, because the word Vishaya means sense gratification, but it also means poison. So, Vishaya. So by taking sense gratification as the primary goal of life, one is drinking poison, is committing suicide. Because we see that if one is he stops to think for a few minutes, what is the destination of those who achieve sense gratification? Or let's say someone gets sense gratification. But how long does it last? What happens to it? Does he have sense gratification all the time? Actually, those who apparently get more sense gratification than the others, they also suffer more when they are no longer able to get more sense gratification than the others. If one is not able to get very much sense gratification, then he doesn't expect it. He's just, well, I don't get sense gratification like the others. So he's suffering because he wants it, but he's not expecting it. Now, someone who gets a lot of sense gratification more than others, for example, let's say someone's a beautiful movie star. So everyone's adoring them, they're famous for their beauty. And then when the beauty's gone, when the old age comes, then they suffer very much because they're attached to the fame of being beautiful and enjoying that, but they can't do it anymore. So, Vishayam, this sense gratification, materialistic enjoyment. Materialistic enjoyment means not according to the scriptures. Scriptures don't say that there's no pleasure. The Vedas do not advise that one can have no pleasure in this material world, but they give guidelines for regulation. Yuktaha vihārasya, yukta chestasya karmasu, yukta svapnāna bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkhaha. That sense gratification should be regulated, just like yoga. We're practicing bhakti yoga. So there's eating. It's not that there's no eating, only fasting. There's eating, but the eating is regulated, only eating Krishna Prasad. So it's not such a big regulation because Krishna has good taste in eating. He doesn't eat things that are not healthy or that are degraded or in the mode of ignorance. He eats nice things. And tasty things are line of preparations is coming down for thousands of years. All the greatest cooks have contributed their specialties, and those specialties have continued to come down. So the food is not only healthy, tasty, spiritually beneficial, but then when Krishna takes it, it becomes even more enhanced. It becomes something supernatural, not even ordinary food. So where's the lack of sense gratification? The sense gratification of eating nice food, of health, strength, taste, spiritual benefits, it's all there. So actually it's not that one diminishes his sense gratification by practicing bhakti yoga, but rather his sense gratification increases, but it increases in a way that's not harmful. It increases in a way that's very beneficial. It's not that good things have to be painful. Sometimes we have this idea, people think that Ayurvedic and homeopathic medicine is maybe not as effective as allopathic because it's not so virulent. It's not so robust and expensive and bitter and painful. It's more preventative. But even the point is that no, it's not necessary that things that are good for us have to be shocking or something like that. So Bhakti Yoga is a process that's very Kevala Anandakanda. It's joyfully performed, Sukham Kartamabhyam. From the very beginning, it's joyfully performed. Just like getting up early in the morning. So one might think that getting up early in the morning sounds like poison. But when one becomes a little experienced in it and gets a taste, not just getting up early to go fishing or something like that, but get up early because that will never bring one bliss. One can get up early. But getting up early for Mangalarti, or worshipping Krishna, for making spiritual progress in the Brahma Muhurta hours, there's a taste. Anyone who started his day off, even once, I think, with a full morning program, a full spiritual morning program, he won't want to go back to the idea of not doing that, because it gives him such an edge in whatever he's doing, whether it's family affairs or business affairs or school affairs or spiritual affairs. Whatever it may be, he'll have such an edge, such an advantage. Mangala means auspicious. So the point is that in the beginning, getting up early may seem difficult, but very quickly it becomes very nectarine. In fact, if we're not too much in the mode of ignorance, then we may even relish it from the very first day. If we're very much in the mode of ignorance, it may take a little bit longer to clean off some of the coverings. Okay, let's read the next.
The treasure of divine love in Goloka Vrindavana has descended as the congregational chanting of Lord Hari's holy names. Why did my attraction for that chanting never come about? Day and night my heart burns from the fire of the poison of worldliness, and I have not taken the means to relieve it.
One of the offenses in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is to maintain material attachments, even after hearing so many instructions on this matter. So, Nityananda Thakur he's playing that role as a devotee who got the opportunity and still didn't take it. He learned about the holy name. Maybe he even got initiated, but he still holds on to the worldly, the poison, the fire of the poison of worldliness. And so the four pillars of worldly life are intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and illicit sex. These have to be there. Chanakya Pandit says three things have to be exterminated completely. One is fire. So that is being described here. You can't leave a little fire in the room. So well, we got most of the fire, there's just a little bit left over here. Now it may start up again. You have to exterminate it completely. And the other two items are disease. If you have a disease, you go to a doctor, he's supposed to get rid of all the disease. Not that, well, you have some cancer left, but don't worry, it's not too much. No, we want to get it completely removed because it'll grow again. And the third item that needs to be eliminated is debt. If you have a debt, clear it. Because if you don't clear it, then there can be, you've heard of interest? Yes, interest. Penalties. So many things. So you have to be careful of these three things. So he's saying the fire of worldliness, I didn't exterminate it, I didn't get rid of it. I still have it, I kept feeding it with the lust, kama. Kama esha, krona esha, rajaguna, samudbhavaha, mahashano, mahapama, vidyena mihabairinam. The all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. We need to know who the enemy is. There's nothing worse than being in a battle and not knowing who's your enemy and who's your friend. That's, at least if you're fighting and you know who the enemy is, you can wholeheartedly try to attack the enemy or protect yourself. But if you don't know who the enemy is, you don't know who's shooting at you and who's on your side, then it's very frustrating. That's even worse. So at least the devotees or the scholars, they know, or even the Gyanis, it's like the Gyanis includes the Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi groups. Nirvishesha means, but they're in the Gyanis. In other words, they're thoughtful. They're trying to get free from the cycle of birth and death. Their method may or may not be the most appropriate and the most suitable, but so the Mayavadis, or the Gyanis, the Shankarites, they're more intelligent in one sense than the Karmis, the fruit of workers, because they're not trying to exploit material nature. They're trying to get free from material nature. And the Shunyavadis, the Buddhists, the Buddhists, they're also intelligent in that they're trying to get free from the cycle of birth and death, trying to get free from entanglement, karma, these bodies, and illusion. But the bhakti yogis, they get all the benefits of the Gyanis, and they get liberated from the fruit of activities, results. But they get even more, because instead of Shunyavadi, they get zero, nirvana. Means they're trying to make everything zero. Zero is better than minus. The materialists are minus. They're in the red. Everything they're doing is causing them suffering. Bad reactions on top of bad reactions. Prahlad Maharaj said that Shaucheta togi mukacheta se indriyartha maya sukhaya paramudvaha togi mudhan. So that means that the vimudhas, the materialists, are, when they try to solve a problem in the material world, they make it worse. It's like someone who doesn't know. If you, let's say you have some boil on your arm and it's very infected, and you go to someone who doesn't know what to do. He said, yeah, squeeze it. Yeah, squeeze it, cut it with, you take a knife, cut it. No. Now it's going to get worse, much worse. Because he tried to solve the problem, but he was ignorant. So it got worse. So that's what the materialists are. They're ignorant. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how the laws of nature work. They don't know how to get out. Everything they do just makes things worse. They think, yes, there's danger from another country, a belligerent country, so let's develop nuclear weapons and that'll protect us. And then they'll never think of, attacking us because we have nuclear weapons. They didn't think that maybe the other side would also get nuclear weapons. And then there's double danger. And then twice times than someone else. Then it expands and others get nuclear, and then look what you created. Everyone's got nuclear weapons. Anyway, you get the point. That's material life. Always creating more problems. So, to bring it up to zero is an advantage. They've made some progress. At least they're not intensifying the debt. They're not spending more. Just like if you lose your credit card, well, at least you can't spend more than you have. So that's good. If you take your credit card away, say, all right, no more spending for you. So head of the household say, oh, that's good, finally. We couldn't do it, couldn't stop spending, so now by force we lost it. But even better is one learns to control his senses and control his mind. And how is that? Savaya Mana Krishna Padana Vindaya. To engage the mind and the senses in Krishna. Thinking about Krishna, meditating on the form of Krishna, serving Krishna, tasting Krishna Prasad, working for Krishna. Working for Krishna is not work, it's play. It's sporting. That's why the devotees, the Vaishnavas, they don't need any athletics and sports, because they have their sports engaging in devotional service. Sometimes they ask Prabhupada, so what about recreation in Krishna consciousness? Dancing? Isn't that recreation? It's not only recreation, but it's spiritual recreation, so it's very pleasing. And the devotees, they use their bodies in the service of the Lord. It's like the 6 Goswamis. The Goswamis, they were offering obeisances 1,000 times a day to Vaishnavas. Very good exercise, very good recreation. So we can pay. There's no limit to how many times you can pay obeisances to the Lord. It doesn't say in the book, you may only pay obeisances 3 times, but not more than that. No, you can pay. You know how they pay obeisances? They circumambulate Govardhan Hill. Has anyone ever done that? Dandavat? Circumambulation? Dandavat? Dandavat means you pay flat obeisances and you put a stone by your head. And then that's your first progress around Govardhan. And then you stand where your stone is and you pay another Dandavat in this way. Have you seen, how many of you have gone on parikrama of Govardhan? You've seen the other people? doing that. But you know what happens when they have many stones? What does that mean when they have many stones?
So many times they're doing Bhagavad.
Yes, they don't just do one Dandavat time round. They may do 10 Dandavats and then take the next step. So, they don't have time for, tennis because they're already engaged. So we can glorify and serve Krishna no limit in any capacity. Arjuna was a great warrior. What kind of physical condition was he in? But it was all for Krishna. Otherwise, if it were not for Krishna, he would have preferred to stay in the forest. He had already been in the forest for 13 years, and he had grown accustomed to it. And he was prepared to stay in the forest rather than fight for sense gratification. But Krishna wanted it, therefore he accepted it. Okay, next.
Lord Krishna, who is the son of King of Vraja, became the son of Sachi, Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram became Nitai.
Yeah, this is in the theme of today. Lord Nityananda is Balaram Hoila Nitai. And Rajendra Nandana say Sachi Sutto Hoilo say. So Rajendra Nandana means the darling of Braja, darling of Vrindavan, has become Sachi's son. That's Lord Chaitanya. And the same Balaram has come as Nitai. Why? Why did they just came 5,000 years ago. Why are they coming back again so soon? Well, first of all, it's scheduled that once in the day of Brahma, Krishna appears in his two-handed original form. So that once in the day of Brahma. And that's also designated in the 7th Manu, in the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu, when the third yuga overlaps the second. Actually, normally it goes Satya, Dwapara, Treta, Kali. But in this age, there's an overlapping. So when that overlapping takes place in the 7th Manu, Vaivashvata Manu, and this is the 28th millennium. How many millenniums are there in Vaivashvata Manu's rule? 71. So, 71, so 28th millennium, the overlapping, and now Krishna came. So, Krishna came, and when Krishna comes, then in the next age, the Kali Yuga following that, Lord Chaitanya comes. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Shema. And Rupa Goswami says, there's no incarnation more merciful than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because, or magnanimous, Mahavaranyaya. He's the most munificent because he's giving what no incarnation has ever given before, pure love of Krishna, in the mood of separation from Krishna as experienced by the residents of Vrindavan. And Nityananda Prabhu is his associate. They are Nityo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godode Pushpavanto Chitroshan Tamodo. They appear like the sun and the moon, rising simultaneously on the horizon of Godel. So that's in other words, Krishna and Balaram are unlimitedly merciful. But when they come as Krishna and Balaram, they have to kill so many demons. Pralambasura, Aghasura, Putana, Kamsa, the list goes on. Baka, Aristasura. Have to kill so many demons, have to establish the principles of religion. They're doing so many things, and Krishna is also busy. He's dancing with so many gopis. You know, there's thousands and millions of gopis. They're coming from in the Garga Samhita. There's an elaborate description of how these gopis that Krishna and Balaram are consorting with, how they're coming from all over the universe. They were waiting for Krishna and Balaram to appear, because in many cases they had fallen in love. There were souls, Jiva souls, that fell in love with different incarnations of the Lord. For example, the beautiful maidens of Ayodhya, when they saw Lord Ramachandra, when they saw the beauty of Lord Ramachandra, they were just completely captivated. And they didn't want anything else. They only wanted to be, they submitted themselves. Please accept us as your wives. We don't care about anyone else. And he said, I accept your devotion, but in this incarnation I'm taking the Ekapatni Vrata. And I cannot accept more than one wife. In fact, so he told them, you wait, don't worry, I'll come again in the future, and you'll come and I'll accept you as my wives then. That was Krishna, because Krishna's incarnation is sporty. It's very, Ramachandra has to follow rules. Krishna doesn't follow. He's not so strict on the rules. He follows some rules, but so he's above all the rules. So thousands and millions of even the deities that Lord Ramachandra worshipped, because after his wife departed, he still was acting as king, and in order to perform the yajna, the husband is supposed to perform the yajna with the wife. So his wife was departed, but he would take a deity, a gold deity of Sita, and then together they would perform the yajna. He would perform the yajna. And so every time there was a sacrifice, there would be a new deity. So all those deities, they also wanted to become his wives, but he wouldn't accept them either. I only accept one wife. But he gave them a chance in the next time he appeared as Krishna, that they could come. Anyway, the list goes on and on. So Krishna had many things to accomplish, but when he came as Lord Chaitanya, he's as a devotee, he's a sannyasi, he has no family members to deal with, he didn't have to kill demons. So, simultaneously, he tasted the nectar of love of Krishna as a devotee. He wanted to experience what the devotees were experiencing. And you can't blame him, because just like if there's, put yourself in the condition or in that situation. Imagine if someone if you have a relationship with someone, well, they're getting to enjoy you, but the point is, if if you're great, like Krishna's great, then naturally the other party is getting a wonderful opportunity to enjoy relating with you. So Krishna, being so great, wanted to see what it is about himself that enlivened his devotees and made them seem to get more pleasure than he was getting. So he came with Lord Chaitanya, and he brings his associates with him, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Gadadhar Srivas. And they're tasting something even more blissful. What is that more blissful thing? It's Sankirtan. Sankirtan, Yajna. There's nothing more blissful than that. There's nothing more blissful than giving Krishna consciousness to others. And it's a fact, especially congregational chanting of the holy names. It's so nice that even it's elevating. We were discussing how it's taking the most degraded souls and lifting them up. Or Gopi Bhava Rasamritab Dilahari Kalola Magna Mahur. 6 Goswamis are repeatedly drowning and surfacing in the ocean of love of the gopis. Well, these are very elevated topics, and we're not qualified to enter into them now, but still, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda and their servants, we're being swept along, and someday we will develop. We have that faith that someday our natural love for Krishna will awaken. It's not that this is something artificial. Love of Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhika Banoy, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Kore Udoy. Have any Bengalis here? How was my pronunciation? Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhika Banoy, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitta Kore Udoy. It's our natural state. It's our inherent nature to be lovers of Krishna. Only artificially we are forgetting that relationship and trying to establish some other lover, some other love, prema. But instead of prema, we're getting kama. And with kama, we get the worst enemy, the all-devouring, sinful enemy of this world. So we have to transfer our kama back into prema, and we do that by chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Chanting the names of the Lord, and we'll be free from all these contaminations of the heart. Cheto Dharmana Marjanam Bhavamaha Dharagni Nivapanam. Cleanses the lust and the dust from the heart. And Nityananda Prabhu is most expert at distributing it. In fact, when Lord Chaitanya left Bengal, because he had taken sannyas. Sannyasi is not supposed to stay at home. He's supposed to go outside of home. Because otherwise, sannyasi may become again attracted to his family and things like that. So he left Bengal, but he asked Nityananda Prabhu to please take care of Bengal, and he did. So many devotees. Although we were reading today that Lord Chaitanya ordered him not to come every year to the Jagannath festival in Jagannath Puri. Why? Why would he order him? He didn't like Nityananda or some other reason?
He wanted Lord Nityananda to preach in Bengal.
Yes, he wanted him to preach. He said preaching is more important. But Nityananda didn't obey. Nityananda, in this incarnation, he's senior to Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, he doesn't have to obey everything. Sometimes when he was Lakshman, he was a younger brother, and he had to do whatever Ramchandra said, and Lord Ramchandra gave him some very difficult tasks. So he said, from now on, I'm going to be the senior brother. So Lord Chaitanya gave him this very stern instruction. You stay and preach. Your preaching is more important. Don't come every year. Lord Nityananda said, yeah, okay, I'll see you there. He came every year. And Nityananda Prabhu, he enjoyed some very nice, intimate pastimes with Advaita Acharya. Sometimes he would call Advaita Acharya a monist, an impersonalist. Advaita means one, so he would accuse him like that. One time, Advaita Acharya prepared a gigantic feast for Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda at his home. And his wife Sita was a great cook. And so he put the plates out, all the dishes, a huge feast. And Lord Chaitanya said, I can't eat this, I'm a sannyasi. I can't eat all this opulent food. Just give me a little lafra. What is it, lafra? Something. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Just means a little mixture of vegetables, boiled vegetables. Very simple for sannyasis. So he said, just give me a little lafra, Ramjan. And I can't eat all this. And Nityananda, on the other hand, said, what is this? Now I've eaten all this. He ate everything. And he said, wait a minute, where's more? And he said, that's all we have. He said, what do you mean? What is it? You invite me for lunch and you don't even fill up half my belly? And Advaita Acharya said, you're just a greedy renunciate coming to give householders trouble. So they were having this mock debate. But it had some truth, but not exactly. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, sometimes he was known as a sannyasi, sometimes known as a householder. He also had two wives, no? Vasudha and Danavir. Is that correct? And Danavir, after Nityananda Prabhu's departure, she carried on, big preacher. In fact, she had thousands of disciples. And her disciples are counted as his disciples. In the list, in the tree of disciplic succession, all of her disciples are in his list. And Vishwambar, different sons. So, Nityananda Prabhu, always chanting, and there's even a saying that one should have implicit faith in Nityananda. And the saying goes that even if I see Lord Nityananda Prabhu go into a liquor shop, I know that he has some business there. business of preaching business. So there's no doubt. Lord Chaitanya wouldn't give any respect to anyone who didn't give full respect to Nityananda Prabhu. So we have to be, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita is very nice. How many have read Chaitanya Charitamrita? Yes, it's a good book to read. Prabhupada, he gave us that book in 17 volumes. 1975, he completed it. He had, the famous printing marathon. How long did he give them to complete? There were 17 volumes remaining. There were some Chaitanya, there were some Bhagavatam volumes also. He gave them 2 months. And first they said, impossible, when they heard it. And Prabhupada said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. I was speaking with that statement was made to Rameshwar. You've heard of Rameshwar Prabhu. I was speaking with him not too long ago. And he was involved in some family affair, and so they gave one of those fortune cookies, and he took it, and what did it say? Impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. He got it confirmed again, in case he had forgotten. So there's nothing impossible for Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Everyone can be delivered. Everyone can become pure devotees. And the process is so simple. Golokera Premadana Hari Nama Sankirtana. The chanting of Hare Krishna, it's imported from Goloka. What more? Do you want an easier process than chanting Hare Krishna? You can chant by yourself, you can chant early in the morning, late at night, you can chant loud, you can chant soft, you can chant together, you can chant with instruments, you can chant while you're standing on your head. And the holy name, there's no rules. Nam namakari bahudani tisarva shaktis tatra pritanya mitak smarane nakala. Nakala means no times. There's no restrictions. Late, too late to chant, too early to chant. It's like when Nanda Maharaj and the coward men, they were doing Shivaratri, but they took bath too early, so they got captured. But you don't get captured if you chant too early, Hare Krishna, or too late. No rules. Okay, read the last one.
O Lord Krishna, son of Nanda, accompanied by daughter of Vrishabhanu, please be merciful to me now. Narottam Das says, O Lord, please do not push me away from your radish lotus feet, for who is my beloved except for you?
So I think that's a good note to end our talk on. And thank you very much. I'm very impressed with your center here. I didn't know this existed. I've been to Chicago many times, but I didn't know that. I went to home programs, but never your own center like this. So congratulations. This is a great accomplishment, great achievement. How long have you been? A few years, huh? Been in this place?
Almost 3 years. Almost 3 years.
Oh, very nice. Beautiful facility. And so make it nicer and nicer, and advance yourselves more and more. Take advantage. Try to establish this as a full temple. I don't know what activities you have, but try to do it like your sister temple on Lent. Isn't it? You should try to come up gradually, not immediately, but gradually that should be your aspiration. At least that's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm trying to act. I'm trying to speak like Prabhupada would speak. Of course, not doing a very good job, but I'm just, having been with Prabhupada many times and seen how he would encourage devotees by generally giving them some challenges. And they would say, Prabhupada, we distributed 4 million books this year. I was like, wonderful, now double it. So, they were thinking, 4 million books, Prabhupada. We worked so hard and we did. Wonderful, now double it. So now you've got this wonderful place. Now, keep going. Don't rest. No rest. Okay, thank you very much. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai.
Danavir Maharaj ki
Jai.